Alright, boys and ghouls, so this is a little tie-in with me and Gareth tomorrow watching Gremlins 2. Just did a video on Gremlins earlier today, so I'm going to do a video on Gremlins 2, and then me and Gareth will watch it tomorrow. So, Gremlins 2, the new batch from 1990. So it's again directed by Joe Dante. Funny enough, Jack Shoulder, the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Wishmaster 2, I had him on the channel, awesome dude. He was at first going to direct Gremlins 2. They wanted him to direct it, and he ended up turning it down because he thought the script was stupid. And honestly, I don't know if I blame him or not, because this movie is so absurd, like, to the 100th power compared to the first movie. I mean, they basically just said, and I'm pretty sure I've heard Joe Dante say this in interviews, we're just decided to do whatever we want. He had total creative control, so he was just going to throw everything at the wall. Hulk Hogan, fuck it, bring him in the movie. Anything that they could think of, that's what they were throwing at this movie. And for the most part, it all sticks. I mean, this is hilarious, stupid fun. And I think we're getting a Gremlins 3, like, at the end of the year, or like sometime soon, unless it was canceled. I heard that we were getting the Gremlins 3, like Curse of the Mogwai or something. So I don't know who's involved with it, but I don't know if I'm that excited for it either. We have Christopher Lee in here as the Dr. Catheter, right? That's great. Just how this opens with the Warner Brothers logo with Bugs Bunny and stuff just sets the tone for exactly what this movie's going to be. If you've never seen Gremlins 2 and this opener happens, you're like, oh, okay, so like this is where we're going, just mindless fun. Funny, in Manhattan, in the Warner Brothers store, I used to go into Manhattan a lot as a kid with family and stuff like that. In the Warner Brothers store, they would have, around Christmas time, they would have Gremlins, like statues and stuff, put all throughout the store. So you could walk through the Warner Brothers store and you'd be seeing all the Gremlin statues all over the place. Really cool. So I just read that originally they were going to have Hoyt Axton return as Mr. Peltzer. And they were all ready to shoot this scene, like he was ready to shoot and everything. And they just decided not to because the movie was running too long and they were never going to use it. But he has like a new invention that he was going to give to Gizmo, like a wetsuit that would prevent him from getting wet ever again. And that would prevent all the Gremlin problems, except, don't feed him after midnight. But like we talked about in the last video, none of his inventions work, so thank God he didn't do that, because Gizmo would be deader than dead at this point. Now, I haven't seen this movie nearly as many times as I've seen the original, so I don't even remember a lot of this movie, which will be fun as I'm skipping through it here. It'll be fun to rewatch it with Gareth tomorrow and just take it all in. There is some cool meta stuff in this movie, if I recall correctly, though. Like, we have Hulk Hogan breaking the fourth wall. We have the scenes where it looks like if you saw it in theaters or saw it in VHS, like it looks like the tape's disrupting and stuff. So if you saw it in theater, do you think that it's malfunctioning in the theater? There's a lot of cool stuff like that. And they also break apart all the stupid rules from the first movie like we were doing and how none of them make sense. There's like a whole conversation about that in this. I like all the meta stuff in this movie. So we see the mythical Chinese man again. His name's Mr. Wing. I don't know if they said that in the first movie, but they did now, so that's his name. But we're going to still call him Mythical Chinese Man. This group of people bring a TV in just to play a recording of a guy pitching an offer to Mr. Wing. Why didn't they just have the guy come with them and have a face-to-face meeting? I don't know, but that happens. And then I think it's cute that we have Gizmo like in a cage and he's watching TV, and at the end of the first Gremlins he said like, you teach him to watch television, and like it's a bad thing, but now like he has him watching TV here, and he's watching Rambo of all things. So Mr. Wing dies, poor mythical Chinese man. So they're able to scrap his whole business away, and they're able to build this huge office building. It's like state-of-the-art. And Kate and Billy move to New York, and they end up working in this office building where hell breaks loose with the Gremlins. Gizmo's just adorable in this too. Nothing changed. Howie Mandel's still doing the voice for him. I love when they're destroying Mr. Wing's place and he escapes, and all the puppet work is fantastic too. And then some like big sexual deviant reaches down and grabs Gizmo. Alright, so Dick Miller's back in here as Mr. Futterman, which I say fuck you movie, because there is no way him and his wife survived that whole scene in the first Gremlins. When they had the tractor or whatever come through their house right towards them, yeah, there's no way. They're dead. So the whole point of bringing him back here, whatever. I don't know what it is. Gremlins and Burger King friggin' love each other, because there's another Burger King product placement here in this movie. Get the hell out of here, man. Come on. I forgot how over the top this movie gets. Even just from the beginning here, when Kate and Billy walk into the office building and they have the spinning doors, rotating doors, and the guy goes in and then it starts going real fast backwards. And he flies into the office building. Get the hell out of here. So the people at Billy's job, complete assholes. Apparently, he has an unauthorized potted plant in his cubicle, so they gotta write him up for it. You got this guy dressed as Dracula, and he's telling you to watch Attack of the Octopus People. I want to watch it now. So we got the great Christopher Lee here playing Dr. Catheter, and for some reason they're doing like genetic research and stuff on the top levels of this huge complex. Like, why not do it anywhere else? I don't know. But they found Gizmo, and then if you ever thought what you needed in a film was Christopher Lee and Gizmo, and he's dancing to rock and roll music from the 50s, this is the movie for you, because that scene's adorable. Aw, so they were going to try to do tests on Gizmo, but he gets away, and then Billy and Gizmo have their little moment together, the first time in a while that they've seen each other. Best buddies, brought together again by fate. And the fact that Gizmo says armband, that is too cute for words. Mr. Clamp, that's the douchebag who owns the whole complex and created this whole place. So then Billy tells Gizmo one simple rule. Gizmo, too, is terrible at following rules. Same with the whole Peltzer family. He tells him, stay in this drawer, and I'll have someone come and get you. I'm guessing Kate. Then as soon as he leaves, Gizmo just gets out of that drawer and just starts walking around this whole business complex. What a great background gag. After Kate gets the rules explained to her, I don't know why, it's hard to forget the three main rules for Gremlins. He's telling her that she has to take Gizmo home and that he's not going to be able to go to dinner with her tonight because he's going to dinner with this redhead for some reason. But you hear over the loudspeaker that whatever the dickhead corporate dude, they have a movie channel. And it's playing Casablanca, and it says in full color and with a happier ending. That's a great gag. So the maintenance guy is fucking with the water, it sprays, and then ends up dropping right on Gizmo's head. And now he starts multiplying fur balls, and now there's going to be Mogwai all over the place. And at this point, you know Gizmo's thinking, is there any way that these fucking people can't not get me wet? Is it that hard to not get me wet? And this is where it all just goes insane. We have the googly-eyed gremlin.
I don't know. A googly-eyed gremlin?
But you do know, because you talking about a gremlin whose sole purpose in this film is just that he looks stupid as fuck. Yes, it can be in the movie, and it is in the movie. Done next.
Who is hysterical looking in this? Oh, that's right. Then we got Mohawk in this one, the stripe equivalent of the first one. Cool design to him, too. Just like with all the Puppet Master films, we're just going to disregard completely how these mini but not too small creatures are just running around all over this place and nobody sees them. Billy goes to that dinner again for some reason with that redhead, even though he seems happy with Kate. But that chocolate mousse they bring out, it's like a literal moose head made of chocolate. Looks delicious. Come on, Kate. I mean, did she not see Gizmo at all the first movie? Because she goes to go pick him up like Billy tells her to. She goes, but all the other Mogwai that were birthed from Gizmo trap him in the vents. So she goes where Billy's office is and she finds Googly Eye Gremlin. And she ends up taking him home. She doesn't know what Gizmo looks like. She doesn't remember his eyes didn't look all fucked up like this. Then the Futtermans' ghost shows up at their apartment, but they say, you can't stay here, you're ghosts. But I mean, just like the first movie, even more so than the first movie, the puppet work is excellent throughout this whole film. Like, Gizmo walking around looks great. All the other Mogwai, the Gremlins look great. Like, everything puppet-wise is perfect in this film. So then Kate and Billy are in the building, and the redhead comes up. It's his boss. That's who it is. So she lets the secret out that they had dinner the night before. Oh, that was great. We got to do it again. Right in front of Kate. So she's like, if we survive today, you're in big ass trouble or something like that. She's not that mean. All of this is great. Like I said earlier, with the rules of the Gremlins. He's trying to tell everyone, like in the security room, that about the Gremlins, and that they start out as furry creatures, and then if they eat after midnight, and then they start dissecting it. They're like, well, what if they eat at 11 o'clock, and he gets something stuck in his teeth? Then after midnight, it unlodges. It falls into his stomach. Technically, he didn't eat it after midnight. Like, all of that is great, and I know that they put all of this in here because of all those questions that everybody had for the first movie. They mentioned the exact thing with the time zone. Then the best way to ever reveal to people who don't believe a story you're trying to tell them in your movie is to have that thing jump the fuck out right in front of their faces. And that's exactly what happens. The Gremlin comes bursting out of the machinery, the computers, starts attacking this guy. Everyone's freaking out. Googly eye, now Gremlin, inside the dish of food that they're filming, like the cooking special, and there's the woman cooking. She takes a little lid off, and Googly Eyes comes out. Instead of being concerned about there being actual monsters in front of her, the woman who was doing the cooking show says, do you see what those little monsters are doing? They're throwing utensils into the microwave. You can't do that. The sprinkler system starts off, and now all the Gremlins that were cooking and running amok at the cooking show, they're all multiplying. So now you got a ton of Gremlins going amok all over the place. And yeah, I really like Mohawk's design, both as a Mogwai and as a Gremlin. Like, both of his designs look really cool in this. Actually, I'd argue I like the design for Mohawk more than Stripe in the first movie. Great effect when douchebag Mr. Clamp is up in his office and he sees the Gremlin and he's struggling with it, and then he ends up putting it into the paper shredder feet first, and it starts shredding the Gremlin, and you see blood and the green shit all flying out from him, and his whole body goes into the shredder. Fantastic. Okay, I forgot all about this. The Gremlin in the lab with Christopher Lee, he drinks like some brain hormone and glasses form on his face and he starts talking in like a intelligent accent. The brainy Gremlin, if you will.
What if there was like a brainy gremlin?
You talking about a Gremlin with glasses who could talk and sing New York, New York? That's brilliant. It's in the movie done.
We have the Bat Gremlin, who takes off, flies through the wall, and it's a perfect bat signal, and he flies into the cement, and he turns into a gargoyle. That's all great, too.
Next!
What about a bat gremlin?
You mean a Gremlin with leathery wings just flying around, flip-flopping, bust through a wall, make a perfect bat symbol in the wall, get outside, get in some wet concrete, jump up on a building and just dry in place like a gargoyle Gremlin? We are cooking with gas now. I love it. It's in the movie. Next!
We got the ugly vegetable Gremlin. I like how Kate runs into the flasher Gremlin and she just kicks it in the nuts and goes flying. Man, these Gremlins are evil. When they have Gizmo tied down to the train tracks with the toy train, and they got the train coming around to go over him. Evil Gremlins, man. Then we get all the stuff in the movie theater with them doing the shadow puppets behind the screen, and then the movie cutting out, Hulk Hogan coming up and say the Gremlins have nothing against the Hulkster, and then breaks the fourth wall. I mean, it's whatever. We got the electricity Gremlin, which is a thing.
Electricity gremlin?
You just said noun and Gremlin, like you playing Mad Libs. You just like a child. You have the brain of a child. You do not have a high IQ, but you haphazardly came up with a Gremlin that's just made out of bolts that is zigzagging all over the room and is done completely in animation. You a crazy person, and your idea's in the movie. Done.
Yo, waking up in a dentist chair and having googly eye Gremlin getting a drill ready to drill your teeth, that's probably the most terrifying thing in this movie. Oh, then we got the spider Gremlin. That looks really cool.
What about a spider gremlin?
You mean a Gremlin with 8 legs and a thorax just catching pretty ladies in a web in an office building? Oh my God, it's in the movie. I love it.
With all just the spider legs and the way that the puppeteers moved him and everything, it looks really good in that scene. All the different Gremlin designs, you can't tell. I mean, the designs of the Gremlins make this whole sequel. Then we get Phoebe Cates giving the whole other story and the Abe Lincoln story, and you could see Zach Galligan start to crack when he's walking off screen. He's like, come on, honey. And then as soon as his head gets behind hers, you see him visibly laughing. I don't blame him. That would be very hard to get through, especially after doing the infamous Santa scene with her in the first movie. And of course, we got the gorgeous woman gremlin. How can you not be attracted to that?
Could there be a female gremlin?
Lipstick, boobies, bitch, you had me and little gremlin but JJ. I love it so much that it's not only in the movie, but it's definitely in the movie. There's no backsies on that one, no penny taxis.
Then, I don't know, stuff gets weird for a while. Then they end up taking out all the gremlins using electricity and shocking the shit out of them. I like how one of them has like a Wicked Witch of the West hat on, so when she melts, it's just a hat there. That's cool, but it gets a little strange at the end of this movie. So then everything is fine, everything is well in Tinseltown, and hey, Mr. Chapman, he's not really that much of a douchebag. He likes Billy's drawing of his hometown. He says, hey, that's something I can do now. That's what people want. They want community. That's my next project. Clamp Corners. Some dumb name he came up with. And then there's just the guy who's been a dick to Billy this entire movie in the elevator with smooches all over him, lipstick, and he gets raped by the female gremlin. Is how the movie ends. So Gremlins 2, the new batch, fun movie. Skimmed through it mostly because I'll be watching it tomorrow, but don't miss that. That'll be fun. Me and Gareth, we always have a fun time watching these crazy movies. So, alright guys, wherever you're from, hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, or night. I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Me and Gareth watching Gremlins 2. Yeah, tomorrow. It's still today. So we see the mythical China. So they're able to scrap his business, and they're making these huge. So they're able to scrap and make this huge apartment No, it's not an apartment. So the people at Billy's Jobs are assholes. That not him, but the head guy who whatever owns this whole huge place. And the fact that the fact that Gizmo says armband, and then the ghosts of the Futterman, and he ends up, I don't know, like getting married to and then getting raped by the girl Gremlin.
You talking about putting Hulk Hogan, professional wrestler turned actor turned cultural icon, in the movie where he break the fourth wall of the movie he's in by talking to the audience. You, sir, are a raging psychopath.